Well, it's a fact of life that things will not stand still. Time is ticking all the time. So instead of waiting or observing change, might as well write or create a change. I guess one thing we try to push ourselves to do is not to focus the R&D in the lab, but to focus the R&D in the market, to look at things from the receiving end, what is needed, the impact to them, and the impact to people around them. The other thing we try to do is to serve, learn how to serve our people. And I have to admit that is something that we haven't done enough, but at least we have the consciousness, intention to do it. We try to embrace people so that even the change was initiated by one person or one group of people, eventually it was shared. And not until the intention of change is shared among a bigger group of people, then things won't happen. So we launched something what we call EAT, Employee Exit Test. So we try to ask employee to be brutal, blunt about what they see, so people have the opportunity, have the channel to voice out and advise us what we could do, tell us what the blind spots are, and by learning from the employee the imperfection of the management, hopefully we can do a better job. So the learning I have in terms of change is not about you dictating what to be changed, but you advocate, and then you get the input from other people, you collaborate and come up with a joint mission, and together embark a new journey.
Okay, so say in the last 10 years, what are the big changes you ever faced in your industry? Can you share a case or even the media or tools that you use in your industry that's totally different from the past?
I guess when we look back, as an industry, we have evolved. In the past, we tried to offer ads to our clients. We serve corporates. We are in the B2B business. We are in the brand management business. I guess we have evolved to learn to become a solution provider, because these days, corporates, be it commercial organization or not-for-profit, they came to us, they are not asking for ads or websites. They came to us when they have an issue, when they have a challenge. So we learn to how to add value. We learn to put ourselves in the shoes of people knocking on our door. And by listening, we started to play a more relevant role. I guess the key point is to be relevant rather than to sell what you want to sell, but to offer solution to help people to solve problems.
Okay, thank you. Well, I don't want to move to the fourth question, because I don't really hear a solid case. Well, DHL, what kind of big change happened in your industry, in your own business?
Don't want to talk about it. I left it. I left running it. Yeah. So no. Well, my own industry is called Life Design and Management now. That's my industry, and that's what I'm teaching. You want to hear a case? 3 months ago, I was told by my doctor and say, your kidney function has dropped from 38%, 35% to 28%. And if it goes, and last year was like 45%. And if you go on like this, your ankle will swell up, and also that you may need a new kidney. So I used the change formula. First, I went and understand. So number one is what I have is called insulin resistant. That means I've been eating so much good food that my liver cannot handle it anymore, because when you're young, you don't have the money, you don't eat the kind of rich food you have. Not only that, your body is functioning more efficient and effective at that time. But when you get old and you stop, continue to stuff good nutrition in, your liver kind of give up and say, well, what he said, I'm going to just either build it around his belly or dump it out. Now, the result of that, number one, the news scared the hell out of me. Sorry, excuse my French. The other word was even worse. Right. So I went and say, the doctors say, well, you have to do things. Number one, lower your blood pressure from 150 over 95 to 120 over 70. And everybody of my friends said, that's impossible. That's impossible. Second one is you have to go from 148 pounds to 125 pounds. That's quite a bit. It's like 20%. So I went, searched the net, and then I find out, number one, the most effective way of lowering your blood pressure is called deep breathing. Not heavy breathing, right? Heavy breathing, we all do that. But deep breathing, it means, and then hold it, and then breathe out. In fact, it says in one of the websites that if you do it about 3 weeks, your composition in your blood change, and then it will lower your blood pressure. You try it. Because yesterday I measured, my blood pressure is around 125 over 72. So that's the kind of, Then the other thing that is, I had to stop eating. And then I have bak choy for breakfast, I have sashimi for lunch, and then I have chicken for dinner. Give up red meat, no more foie gras, and no more caviar. The caviar is getting beyond reach anyway. So,
okay.
and that's if you want to say case.
You triggered the dean to say something.
Sooner or later, our profession, well, our full-time job is actually taking care of our health. And that's a change.
Yeah, and Drucker said that you can't manage and motivate and lead others until and unless you first know how to manage and motivate and lead yourself. He also prescribed, he did a study of General Motors in 1952, one of his classic works called The Concept of the Corporation. It was the first analytical diagnosis that was ever done scientifically inside any large organization in the world. It was very critical of General Motors in 1952. He said this company is too inwardly focused, it's too bureaucratic, it's too sclerotic, it's not focused on market needs and demands, it's too adversarial with its employees, it's treating its employees as liabilities, not assets. All these things need to change. 50 years later, General Motors went bankrupt. Shoichiro Toyoda read that book, the chairman of Toyota Motor Company, and he adopted a Toyota way, which he modeled very much on the Drucker way. Respectful of his employees, taking a long view, building the company from the outside in rather than the inside out, being committed to sustainable practices, introducing a hybrid car in 1992 when there was no economic viability. It's now the largest corporation in the world, and General Motors is bankrupt. Unfortunately, too many case studies we can contrast between corporations that acted fairly predictably, short-sightedly, and others, unfortunately, too few who have operated in Drucker-like ways.